Welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And I'm having a seat here in the Garden of Eden. Why am I having a seat here? Well, a couple of reasons. The first one is, it's a beautiful day. It's got to be close to 70 degrees out here. And there was a call for wind this afternoon. But it started coming up, but it spared me, and it's still looking like it might still get windy yet, so I just hustled to finish the task that I was doing. And the task I was doing was a follow-up on what I was doing in the prior video, but a little bit different. So here we go. Look at this. I got that shade cloth up on the garden extension. Now, that extra that's hanging down that side isn't going to stay there. That's all going to come off. This screen is going to come off of here. And I'm thinking that I could probably put that on this wall over here to finish up what I've got there. And that'll take care of that wall, and it'll let plenty of light in. And then on that wall over there, I'll put as much of the screen as I can down low to meet with the metal panel. And then whatever's left over that isn't covered by wire, I'll put the same type of shade cloth I used for the roof of the greenhouse in my last video. It's more like a mesh like this wire is. It'll let more sunlight in. And that's what I'm going to need. I'm going to need to get more sunlight in there because that's a pretty dark shade cloth. And there's light in there right now, but it's coming in from that side. So during the day, during the heat of the day, it's going to be pretty shady in there. I will be anchoring everything down. I've got most of it anchored around the edges, and the excess flapping around, I've got wired down to my cement mixer and to a tote and all of that stuff. And I'll get back on that tomorrow if there's no wind. And if there is wind, I'll be bringing my van down and parking it right outside this door and getting my rototiller in here to run off the solar of the... I got an electric rototiller. So I'll run off the solar in my van, and I'm going to mix and churn up all of the soil in here and get the horse manure broken down into the soil so it's all ready to plant. Because it looks like spring is in the air. In every sight and every sound. Yes. Garlic and onions doing just great. And now I'm on my feet. As I said yesterday, I got buds starting to pop on my pear tree. That's a good thing. But something else I noticed while I was walking through here today was my main grapevine has buds on the end of it. Look at that. Cool. The grapevine is coming to life. So, I'll be taking down that trellis there and getting ready to put it someplace else. And this tree is really looking happy and healthy there where I planted it. So, it's going to stay there. And let it grow up a little higher, and then I'll train it so it only grows as high as the garden house roof here, and then canopies out. So we'll walk under the canopy to pick stuff. I got a little bee that just landed there on my branch, so that's cool. That's a good sign. So here we are on the inside of the greenhouse. And you see the screen I put up in the last video from the inside here. So that's going to work great. I am happy I got all this done today. And I did it all myself. All my little old self. So look at this. Huh? Yeah, it's all going to get anchored down. That's going to be a real trick. So I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do that, but I think what I'm going to do is put a ladder up against maybe that edge, and then lay a long 2x4 across there, and then I'll shoot some 3-inch screws through the 2x4 from the top, through the tarp, and into the 2x4s I have going across on struts. And that'll hold it down really well. And I don't need many. I think I can just put one right there, which will take 2 2x4s, and maybe one on this edge, and that's it. Or, yeah, I think at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah. So that'd be 3 and 3. That should hold it down. And then I've already got it anchored against there just with screws, but I will be putting some of this stuff. This is the stuff I showed you in the last video that I cut up with using my shears there. I cut it up into shorter pieces to use as cleats. But I'll be using this in long pieces on this edge just to make sure that it holds that really well, so that when the wind's really gets up, it doesn't yank those screws out up there. So I'm liking it. You know, since I really don't need the upper half here, I may cut the shade cloth or just roll it up and tack it up high. And then I can use that wire right there also, because it splits right at this 2x4. That's what the 2x4 is for. There was a 5-foot section or 6-foot section. And then I had to use the next piece that goes up and wraps over the roof. But that'll be, I'd say, about 30 inches of it that I might be able to use on that wall right there, and then use all of this on that wall. I'll work it out in my head and go from there. Then I'll get out here with my shears and cut off all the shredded stuff that's on the shade cloth over there. And I may have to end up putting 2x4s in between where the wire and the shade cloth come together. But that's okay. Remember, I got all those 2x4s from that abandoned grow area up the ways. And I'll check with my neighbor. I think there's still more of them up there. So I can make a trip up there for the afternoon and come back with another trailer load full of 2x4s. So I can get my chicken coop extension finished up. All right. So you might have heard in the last video, the gunshots going off up there in the canyon. And that was up by the way that mass murder was a couple of years ago. And it's coming from the compound of the grow area that the guys got killed came from. So yeah, I got this all tied down and anchored right now, so I think I'm okay to go in and make my supper, feed the dogs. Chickens have already been fed, so they're all taken care of. They got feed and water. So I'll be ready now. That extra shade cloth I cut off of there, that'll come in handy. You know, I just might get my patio started on the wraparound patio on the cabin. And, sorry, I hit the wrong button. But then I'll be able to put shade cloths on the area where I'm going to sit during the hot summer days outside, and the dogs will also like that because they like hanging close to the cabin to make sure that I'm safe. And they'll have a shady area to get under. Yeah, I think I might do that. That sounds like a plan and a half. All right, everybody. There's a two-parter here because I did do a shut-off on it, so I'll edit them together in the final run, and you'll get to see what's going on there. So I got some pots here already filled with soil, and if that automatic watering thing that that company said they were going to send me gets here soon, I haven't heard from them since that. I did say yes, I'll do it, but I'll if I get that watering thing with this wall down, I'll be able to use that irrigation tube over there, and I'll put in an automatic watering system in here, so it takes care of itself most of the time, and I can run it right off of those totes if I'm not mistaken. I'll just have to put a screen filter in to make sure none of the algae goes out, because that one's pretty clean right there. That's a good looking tote full of water. So the last two are. But yeah, and I could always throw some chlorine in there and stir it up and let it eat up that algae and kill it, and I'll have clean water. But the plants don't care if it's got algae in it. Matter of fact, that's nitrogen, and they'll take the nitrogen. All right, everybody, I want to thank you all for joining me. This is G Bear signing off. You know, today I think people are just too judgmental. I can tell just by looking at them.